Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, what is basically PLC? PLC is programmable logic control. Okay, programmable logic control, or you can say programmable logic circuit. Okay, so what is that? I hope you all have studied about what is your electropneumatics, pneumatics, hydraulics. Okay, so it is just a higher version of your electropneumatics and electrohydraulics. First comes your pneumatics, then comes your electropneumatics or electrohydraulics, and then at the top there is PLC. Okay, so what is PLC basically? It is a programmable logic circuit. Your electropneumatic circuits, which you have done, which has been taught to you, it is your basically your circuit. It is a circuit diagram. Okay, it is a circuit wherein you have to do your hardware, you have to connect your wires, and then you have to design your circuit in such a way that it should run. Let's say for example a plus b plus a minus b minus circuit you have to design, so you have to do the wiring accordingly, isn't it? But if you have to change that circuit from a plus b plus a minus b minus to a plus b minus b plus a minus, okay, or you just have to do a plus and a minus, so you have to change the wirings, isn't it? But in PLC you just have to change the program. You don't have to change the wirings and settings every time. Okay, so what is PLC? PLC is a digital electronic apparatus with a programmable memory for storing instructions to implement functions such as logic, sequencing, timing, counting, and arithmetic to control machines and processes. Input devices such as switches, sensors, etc. Output devices are solenoid and motors. Okay, what is actually your PLC? I can say it. Uh, PLC is your something which you can program, just like your CNC programming. Okay, just like your CNC programming, your what do all of you know? I think so. You have studied in your uh, maybe in PP and all. All of you know what is CNC, computer numeric control. All of you know, students, what
Yes,
is a
sir.
CNC machine. Let's say for example you have a normal lathe machine. You have a normal lathe machine, and you have to you can do any operation in that. But for a CNC machine you have to write a program, and then accordingly you have to run it. So you use your G codes and M codes in that. There is a different language used for that, and then you can run it automatically. Just like your CNC machine, your PLC also have a program. If the program is written in your uh, rungs form, okay, rails and rungs form, that is your what you can say, this is your logic circuit. Okay, so just a second. Yes, students, just wait. Yes, Tejas sir.
Yes, sir.
Huh. I'm not getting the option to draw or something.
Uh, to draw, sir.
To write like same like your in Zoom. Actually I use Zoom, so therefore I'm not familiar with this. So you, I think as you are the host, you have to give me the rights so that I can
Sir,
if I want to write something, on a normal white paper or white board.
sir, there is no such option in actually Google Meet. You may use uh, Paint or WordPad or Notepad, anything. Just share the screen and
Okay, okay, okay.
share the entire screen, and you can simply write. You can simply use Paint or WordPad, Notepad, anything. It will be
Okay,
visible to
okay, okay,
students.
sir. Okay, sir. Okay, okay, okay. Okay.
So you can simply minimize the Chrome and you can use Notepad. Yes, sir.
Same way, na?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, let it be. I will try to explain it here only. Okay. See, what is actually PLC? I should tell you. PLC, it is, you can say, programming in which, you have to write a program to run something. Okay. It is like your computer only. Okay. It has a computer, inbuilt processor is there for your PLC. Okay. PLC के लिए आपको एक inbuilt processor चाहिए. Okay. इनबिल्ट प्रोसेसर की ज़रूरत है उसके लिए. जैसे कि आपका सीएनसी मशीन है, सीएनसी मशीन में भी जी कोड्स एंड एम कोड्स लगते हैं, इजंट इट? सीएनसी मशीन्स में भी आपको जी कोड्स एंड एम कोड की ज़रूरत होती है. ओके, तो जी कोड एंड एम कोड आप लिखोगे तो उसके अंदर वैसा सिस्टम बनाया हुआ है कि वो प्रोसेसर जी कोड और एम कोड को स्टडी करेगा, जी कोड और एम कोड को क्या करेगा, जी कोड और एम कोड को डी कोड करेगा और उसके हिसाब से आपका सर्किट को चलाएगा वो. ओके, सो पीएलसी भी वैसा ही है. पीएलसी भी क्या कर रहा है, इट इज टेलिंग यू टू राइट अ प्रोग्राम. ओके, उसके अंदर पूरा वो सॉफ्टवेयर उसका अवेलेबल है. ओके, एंड देन इट डिकोड्स दैट एंड इट विल रन योर सिस्टम अकॉर्डिंग टू द प्रोग्राम रिटर्न. ठीक है, तुम लोग 6th सेमेस्टर में हो, तुम लोगों को थोड़ा सा आर्डिनो प्रोग्रामिंग के बारे में मालूम होगा. आर्डिनो प्रोग्रामिंग किस लिए यूज करते हैं स्टूडेंट्स? यू माइट बी नोइंग दैट के छोटे छोटे अपैरेटस है, जैसे कि ड्रोन्स वगैरह बनाना है आपको और छोटे छोटे रोबोट्स बनाने हैं, तो वहाँ पर आर्डिनो प्रोग्रामिंग यूज होता है. लेकिन अगर आपको बड़ी बड़ी सर्किट्स चलानी है, अगर आपको कोई मोटर चलाना है, अगर आपको सोलोनॉइड्स चलाने हैं, सोलोनॉइड ऑपरेटेड डीसीवी, सोलोनॉइड ऑपरेटेड डीसीवी भी मालूम होगा आप लोगों को. सोलोनॉइड ऑपरेटेड डीसीवी मालूम होगा क्योंकि आपने इलेक्ट्रोन्यूमेटिक्स किया है, बराबर ना? यस स्टूडेंट्स?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so see, PLC is a digital electronic apparatus, okay, with a programmable memory. उसको प्रोग्राम रीप्रोग्राम कर सकते हैं, आपको जो प्रोग्राम लिखना है उसके अंदर आप ये लिख सकते हो. फॉर स्टोरिंग इंस्ट्रक्शन, वो स्टोर करता है इंस्ट्रक्शंस को और इम्प्लीमेंट करता है फंक्शन सजेस्ट, कोई भी लॉजिक हो, कोई भी सीक्वेंसिंग हो, टाइमिंग काउंटिंग, टाइमिंग टाइमर्स वगैरह आप यूज कर सकते हो. ओके, एंड अरिथमेटिक टू कंट्रोल मशीन्स एंड प्रोसेसेस. ओके, so this is your PLC. You will understand it later. Okay, we will see videos and some images. Okay, input devices इसके क्या होते हैं? switches and sensors, जिससे वो input लेता है, और output devices होते हैं solenoids and motors etc. Okay, what is the advantage of PLC? PLC have the great advantage that it is possible to modify a control system without having to rewire द कनेक्शन. यानी कि अगर आपने, अगर योर प्रैक्टिकल्स हैव नॉट हैपेंड दिस टाइम, बट अगर आपने हैंड्स ऑन एक्सपेरिमेंट किया होता तो आपको पता चलता कि कोई भी एक सर्किट को बदलना है, उसको चेंज करना है उसका आउटपुट, तो आपको क्या करना पड़ता? आपको उसको रीवायरिंग करना पड़ता है. वायर्स को निकाल के या पाइप्स को निकाल के उसको आपको क्या करना पड़ता है? रीवायर करना पड़ता है. लेकिन पीएलसी में ऐसा नहीं है, आपने कनेक्शंस पहले से बने हुए होते, आपको उसको क्या करना है? आपको उसको प्रोग्राम को चेंज करना है बस. ओके, तो ये है एडवांटेज. दूसरी, दे आर फास्टर देन इलेक्ट्रोन्यूमेटिक रिले ऑपरेटेड सिस्टम. ओके, इलेक्ट्रोन्यूमेटिक सिस्टम से भी फास्टर है ये. इलेक्ट्रोन्यूमेटिक्स में क्या है, आप करंट पे डिपेंडेंट हो और एयर पे डिपेंडेंट हो. करंट जाएगा, सिग्नल देगा, उसके बाद में वो सिस्टम वर्क करेगा, है ना? कोई कोई सिस्टम स्लो होते हैं, कोई कोई सिस्टम एकदम ज्यादा फास्ट होते हैं, और पीएलसी बहुत ज्यादा फास्ट है एज कम्पेयर टू इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक्स, बिकॉज इट इज वर्किंग इन टर्म्स ऑफ योर प्रोग्राम नॉट इन टर्म्स ऑफ ओनली इन टर्म्स ऑफ योर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक सिग्नल। सिर्फ इलेक्ट्रॉनिक सिग्नल पे वो वर्क नहीं कर रहा है। इलेक्ट्रोन्यूमैटिक्स नाम कैसे बन रहा है, देखो, इलेक्ट्रो यानी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स एंड न्यूमैटिक्स। तो ये न्यूमैटिक सिग्नल्स भी है, न्यूमैटिक की हेल्प से सिलेंडर वर्क कर रहा है और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स की हेल्प से आपका सर्किट वर्क कर रहा है, इजंट इट? तो यहाँ पर क्या है, पीएलसी में क्या है, यहाँ पर आपका प्रोग्राम भी है, इलेक्ट्रिकल चीजें भी है और न्यूमैटिक्स भी है। आप प्रोग्राम लिखकर आपके सोलेनॉइड ऑपरेटेड डीसीवीज को चला रहे हो या फिर मोटर को चला रहे हो। ओके, सो electropneumatic relay operated system, therefore the control systems which vary quite widely can be made flexible. Okay, जो कंट्रोल सिस्टम बहुत वेरी करते हैं उसको फ्लेक्सिबल बना के हम लोग यहाँ पर यूज कर सकते हैं। सी दिस इज हाउ योर PLC looks like. Okay, this is your PLC diagram. Okay, PLC diagram ऐसा दिखता है। द हार्ट ऑफ द PLC इज द प्रोसेसर। ये मेजर कंपोनेंट्स है, बेसिक्स है। पावर सप्लाई आपको देना पड़ेगा 24 वोल्ट DC सप्लाई और AC सप्लाई। इनपुट मॉड्यूल एक होगा, ओके, जो आपके सेंसर्स वगैरह से इनपुट लेगा, ओके, प्रोसेस करेगा उसको और आउटपुट मॉड्यूल को भेजेगा। आउटपुट मॉड्यूल क्या करेगा, वो आउटपुट को कमांड करेगा। ओके, आउटपुट को कमांड करेगा कि ये आउटपुट को चलाएगा। वो कौन से आउटपुट को, अलार्म्स को, सोलोनॉइड्स को, एक्सेट्रा। प्रोसेसर क्या होगा, प्रोग्रामेबल। ओके, प्रोसेसर विल बी programmable. Okay, so let's see small videos, okay, wherein you will understand what exactly is PLC and how it is different with your normal electro-pneumatic circuit. Okay, first of all we will just see, okay, first of all we will just see this video. Okay, this is your electro-pneumatic circuit only, but you know, see, this is your electro-pneumatic circuit only. Okay, but it is run with the help of a PLC. Okay, just observe it. All of you know what is a directional control valve. Okay, pneumatic DCV. This is the pneumatic DCV which you can see. Okay, pneumatic DCV, it is getting the air with the help of a compressor. There you can see there is a compressor. Compressor is giving the air. Okay, so it is totally a pneumatic system. Hydraulics में क्या है, in hydraulics you will get oil, and you are having a hydraulic DCV spool valve. Okay, then comes your electropneumatics. Okay, electropneumatics, what happens in electropneumatics, this DCV, it is run with the help of the PLC signal. Okay, there is a PLC in the bottom, you can see. PLC is giving the signal. PLC is giving the command. How it is giving the command? It is giving the current to this solenoid operated DCV here. Okay, it is giving the command to the solenoid operated DCV. What happens in your electropneumatics? Students, electropneumatics में क्या होता है? Electropneumatics में आप एक सर्किट बनाते हो, ओके, और वो सर्किट और विद द हेल्प ऑफ योर रिलेज, विद द हेल्प ऑफ योर सोलोनॉइड ऑपरेटेड डीसीवीज, आप उसको कौन से सोलोनॉइड को कब चलाना है ये डिसाइड करते हो ना। K1 कॉइल चालू होगा तो Y1 सोलोनॉइड चालू होना चाहिए। K2 रिले चालू होगा तो Y2 सोलोनॉइड चालू होना चाहिए। तो इस तरह से आप A+B+, A-B- ऑपरेशन परफॉर्म कर पाते हो। बट यहाँ पर क्या है, आप PLC प्रोग्राम आपने लिख लिया, PLC यहाँ पे कमांड दे रहा है कि कौन से सोलोनॉइड को कब करंट देना है। अब यहाँ पर तो एक ही है, तो इसको कब करंट देना है वो PLC प्रोग्राम डिसाइड कर रहा है। ओके, जस्ट ऑब्जर्व दिस। See, the compressed air is coming. Okay, and the directional control valve is directing the air. Okay, double acting cylinder is shown here. Okay, okay, the piston can be moved back and forth. See the application of this cylinder. Okay, it is blocking the area of this whooper or the container. Okay, something can be can fall from this downwards. Okay, some, let's say some wafers or some uh, you can say some chocolates and all, they can fall from here. Okay, so it is blocking it, and when I move the piston to the right hand side, it will unblock it and it will allow the wafers to pass down. Okay, so this is the application of the cylinder. Okay, okay, when it is retracting, slide gate valve, it will open. Okay, all of you know what is a DCV. Okay, see, this DCV is working with the help of current. When the current comes here, okay, it just pushes the spool which is there. There is a spool here. Okay, it pushes this spool and it will actuate the side and the cylinder will retract. Okay, the cylinder will retract. So the command to operate it, the command to push the spool, okay, that is given by PLC here. It will give the timing according to the program, and it will give the current here, and the solenoid operated DCV will get magnetized. Okay, so this is how your PLC works. Okay, with the help of in combination with your electro-pneumatics. Okay, hope you are getting this. In combination with your electro-pneumatics, you can use your programmable logic circuit. Okay, okay, so as long as the current is passing, the PLC is giving the command to pass the current, the spool will remain in this position only. Okay, and the compressed air will keep the piston in this position. Okay, as it is a spring return, the spring will move back. Okay, and the air will move to the other side. Okay, and your piston air path is changing and the piston is extending. Okay, okay, students. So see, this is how your electro-pneumatics is converted into a PLC. Okay, electro-pneumatics are converted into PLC. Okay, see, you can see electro-hydraulic circuit. Okay, what is happening in an automatic electro-hydraulic circuit. Okay, okay, the limit switches are there. The limit switches are sending the signal, okay, to a controller, okay, which is just an electronic controller which is making or breaking the connection. Okay, and then it is running automatically. So I have to design that circuit accordingly. See, with the help of the switches which you can see at the piston end, the contact is make, one contact is make and other is break. Okay, the one contact is getting make and the other is getting break. Okay, so therefore the connections are made accordingly, and the current is supplied to the solenoid operated DCV with the help of this contact breaker. What it does, it just connects one solenoid and disconnect uh, the other side, other solenoid. Okay, Y1 and Y2, there are two solenoids in this DCV. So it will make one connection, disconnect the other connection on the basis of the piston position. Piston position, when it reaches S1, it will close one and it will open one connection. Okay, you can see the operation. Okay, okay, the wires of that connector is connected here. Okay, so this is just pulling the spool and operating the solenoid operated DCV. There are two DCVs. Okay, we are not using any lever here. Okay, it is continuously working because we have designed it accordingly. We have designed it designed it in a such a way that a plus a minus operation should happen continuously as long as we stop it. All this is happening. See, as the piston is reaching the limit switch, the contact, one contact gets make and the other contact gets make here at this point. Okay, at this solenoid operated DCV. Okay, so this was your electropneumatics. The same thing, which if you have to make complicated circuits, okay, then you have to make use of your PLC. Okay, so we will just see another application of PLC. See, this was a project made by some students. Okay, automatic bottle filling and capping. So you can think of making this type of setups for your final year projects also. Okay, see, the bottle is coming. Okay, with the help of a conveyor belt. Okay, it is stops. Okay, there is a sensor which is there, which senses the bottle. Okay, it stops there and then it gets filled. Okay, and then it comes ahead, it gets capped. Okay, there is a water nozzle, okay, which is run through a pump, so that pump is also getting the signal from the PLC. Okay, there is a PLC which is attached and therefore it is getting the signal from the PLC. All the things are getting the signal from the PLC. Cap mounting mechanism is also pneumatically operated. Okay, तो इसको जो कमांड देना है कि कब इसको एक्चुएट करना है वो भी PLC कर रहा है. That is also done by PLC, and the signal is given with the help of the sensors which are there. Okay, pneumatically actuated pistons which are moving up and down. There is a motor also here. Okay, there is a motor here which is rotating, and it is tightening on the cap on the bottle. Okay, there is a motor and there is a piston which moves down. Okay, so there is a pneumatic solenoid valve. See at the bottom, it is a pneumatic solenoid valve which is actuating the piston. Of course, you cannot use a pneumatic system. You have to use electropneumatic system with the PLC. See the blue color pipes, you can see it is just to supply the air. Okay, it is supplying the air. Okay, what is using a DC motor for tightening the cap. Okay, okay, hope you have understood these, students. Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay, we'll move ahead. See, this is another application of PLC. Okay, this is your flexible manufacturing systems, automatic manufacturing systems which are used in your industries nowadays. There is a wide application of PLC. First of all, I would like to make you clear that PLCs are used. PLCs are used nowadays to for automating things, automate your industries, for automation. Okay, so people, let's say that if they are from small scale industries or or medium scale industries, they also are going for automation because everything will be automatic, things will be faster, things will be more precise, more finished products. Okay, and then they will earn more. Just one thing is there, the investment is large, For for automating things, you have to invest a little bit, okay, in lakhs. And the other thing is that you have to be keep a skilled worker. You cannot fully automate anything. There has to be an operator who will see whether the functions are going on or not properly. So there has to be at least one single operator. Therefore, everyone are going towards automation, and PLCs are widely used. PLCs are used everywhere in large scale industries also, medium scale industries also, and small, you might have seen small industries also, which were running some small systems, okay, for filling water bottle filling plant or some type like that. Small companies have come, like they are giving mineral waters and all. So there also they are using PLC systems to automate the things, okay. It depends on how much money they have and whether they can invest on that. But the input is less and output is more, okay, in this automation. And it has a large scope. If you want to make a career in automation industry, there is a large scope in available. There are jobs available, okay. But only thing is that you have to be skilled. You have to be skilled enough to run a program. To understand the things, to write a program in PLC, okay, which are much complicated. There are programmers available who can write the whole program in of a system in few hours. So it all depends on how much skilled you are, okay. You can see what is happening. Open, push button, closed, uh, normally open, normally closed, push buttons. See what is happening here, okay. Input conveyor is there, okay. Here is an input conveyor, outgoing conveyor, from where the containers are coming into the rotary table. This is the rotary table which you can see, big one, okay. And from where the uh, you know the containers are coming and it is rotating, then it is covering, coming towards this valve, okay. And the from the valve, the water or any liquid is coming and filling it. And then there is a robot which is capping that container, which is closing that container. And then from the outgoing conveyor it goes outside, okay. So all the this automation is done with the help of PLC, okay. The PLC is operating the valve, the PLC is operating the robot, PLC is operating the hydraulic drill, rotary table, input conveyor, outgoing conveyor. It is all the things are done with the help of a single PLC, okay. Single PLC is controlling it. Of course the robot is also, it is a robot, but it is controlled, simple robot. It is just capping the container. All these things are done with the help of a PLC. Hope you have understood it, okay. There is a storage tank, there is a pressure tank used, okay. Yes, students, see the programming which we are going to learn, okay. It is the ladder logic programming. It is the ladder logic programming, okay. It is, the simplest form and the oldest programming language used for PLC. There are other languages also used, but this is the oldest and the easiest. होता है ना, कुछ कुछ लैंग्वेजेस बहुत इजी होते हैं, जैसे कि पाइथन आया है अभी सेकेंड ईयर में. माइट भी आप लोगों को नहीं था, लेकिन पाइथन जो कि बहुत इजी है, बहुत ज़्यादा उसका एप्लीकेशंस भी है, तो वो अभी पढ़ाया जा रहा है. दैट इज़ ऑल्सो बीइंग टॉट टू द सेकेंड ईयर स्टूडेंट्स. So you might have learned C, C++, Java. Java was quite difficult. Okay. So this is the oldest and the easiest, because the programming is similar to your electropneumatics. Your programming is similar to your electropneumatics. Okay, and in the same way as you design your electro-pneumatic circuit, you have to design your PLCs. Okay, see,
Yes, sir.
PLC programming, this is how you design it. First of all, you have to make two rails like this. These are the vertical rails. Okay, vertical rails. Okay, and in that you have to start writing your program in with the help of the horizontal rungs. These are the horizontal rungs which you can see. Okay, horizontal rungs. One by one you have to write the program. Okay, you can consider this side as positive and this side as negative. So when the connection from the positive side, okay, and gets connected with the negative side, then only you will get the output. Okay, then only you will get the output. Same as your electro-pneumatics. What happened in electro-pneumatics? You had a two horizontal lines, है ना? And then in that you might be writing the program. Okay, you might be writing the push button is there, and then there is a coil which is used. Okay, and there is a normally close contact which is used, isn't it? You might be using that. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
same way, same things, same things, you have to arrange it. You have to arrange it vertically. Okay, the same thing, you have to arrange vertically, and that is, you will get the PLC programming. Okay, so let us see that. See, what are the elements of ladder logic? Is a normally open contact, normally closed contact. As you can see, this is a normally open contact, normally closed contact, and the coils which are denoted like this. Okay, and see, this is your normally open contact. Okay, normally closed contact relays. It is denoted. Timers are denoted like this: a circle with written with T1 inside or outside. There is no such problem with that. Okay, a circle will denote timer T1. If it is starting from T1, T3, there are timers, there are counters. Okay, we will see what are counters also. And end rung is also there. It is not that necessary to write an end rung, but generally people write that the program has ended. Okay, so these are the elements. Okay, then see, relay instructions input. It take input from sensors and output. Let's say it energizes the pump. Okay, it take input from the sensors and output is it is energizing pump. So how will you write this program? See, question will be given there. You have to take input from a sensor, let's say any sensor, switch or push button, and you have to energize a pump. So input I am giving from like this. Let's say it is a push button, okay, which is a normally open. All of you know what is a normally open push button. You might be denoting it like this in this electro-pneumatics, isn't it? Like this. All of you remember this? And then you made connections.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. So same way, I have to make two rungs, sorry, two rails here, and in that I will connect a push button. Okay, input 000. Okay, that is denoted by input 000. Input, why it is just an address. It is just an address for denoting the input. Your PLC, any computer, it does not understand your language. If you write PB, or if you write push button, or if you write switch, it will not understand it. So you have to give the address. You have to define the address first of all. So you have to write PB1. Okay, you have to give the input to the PLC that PB1, it is your store that PB1 as a address in I000. Okay, so that is a programming language. Therefore you have to give the instructions to the uh, computer. Okay, and output also told out the O001. Okay, output O0. See, it is just a denotion. Denote कर रहे हैं हम लोग. We are denoting it, and we are giving an input, and then we are getting the output. So as soon as what happens, I am giving the input. The Normally open contact, this will get closed like this, isn't it? It will get closed. Okay, this gets closed. What happens? The current goes here. Okay, the current goes, it will go to the output, that is buzzer, okay, or pump, anything, whether it is a buzzer or whether it is a pump, and it will give the current to that, and the pump will get on. Pump will get on. So the normally push button is now closed, and therefore it is allowing the current to flow from the left hand side to the right hand side. You can assume it that the current is getting flow, but in actual, the rung is getting completed. Okay, so this normally open contact will be through when push button is closed. Okay, see, in the same way, normally closed, when it opens, then it is through. Okay, means it is in the actuated position. When it is closed, it means it is normally closed. Okay, in the normal position it is closed. When we are not touching it, when we are not disturbing it, in its normal position it will be closed always. As soon as we disturb it, we actuate it with the help of a piston end or rod end or something, then it gets actuated. So when it is getting open, then it is through. Okay, see, let's say this is your two rails. Okay, so I have to make a program like this. Okay, if I press push button 1, PB1, okay, I should get the fan on. The fan should get on. Fan I have denoted by output O000. This is your O. Okay, output O000. And if I press this push button 2, input 000, input 001, then I will get green LED output as an output. It should glow. Okay, I should glow, it should get on. Okay, so what is happening? See, I'm writing the program. I'm starting from here. Okay, here PB1 I'm keeping an open, normally open contact. Okay, that is a normally open contact. So normally open contact, when it is getting pushed, when it is getting push button is pressed, then this will close, and you will get the output. Will get the output. Then after that, if you want to press the push button 2, then push button 2 will be getting pressed. The program will read it. Okay, push button is pressed. Okay, it will get the signal. Okay, yes, push button is closed. It will close this, and then the output will go to the green LED, and the green LED will glow. So it is in my hand whether I have to green LED. If I have to on the green LED, I will press the push button 2. If I have to on the push button 1, I will F2 on the fan, I will on the push button 1. At any time I can operate any one. Okay, so this is how you have to start writing the program. Okay, see, next, AND function. Okay, yes students, sir, am I going fast, or
No, sir, it's okay.
No, sir.
you are understanding now? So actually there is less time, and I have to cover many things, so I'm trying to go a little bit fast. So if any point of time you feel like I'm fast, you are not understanding anything, you can ask questions. Okay, you can chat. Okay,
Okay, sir.
so
Yes,
see,
sir.
AND function. AND function, what is AND function? Means when there is both the input are true, then you will get the output. When both are 1 1, you will get the output. So how do you design that? See, you have to put A and B both in series. You have to give a 24-volt supply. Okay, 24-volt supply you are giving. Let's say it is an AC supply. So when the current will go, will pass from here. Okay, when this will be opened, okay, when this will be opened, the current will not go from the A point, though B is closed. If the B is closed, then also it will not go ahead, because the current will not flow from A. And on the other side, if A is closed and B is open, then also the current will not go. So both the contacts should be closed. Okay, then you will get the output, and the lamp will, what will happen? The lamp will glow. Okay, the lamp will glow.
Hello.
Yes.
Ashok sir, actually, I'm
Yes.
sorry to interrupt you, but
Yes.
actually,
Yes.
your voice is sometimes breaking.
Voice is breaking. Okay.
Yes,
Okay, I
your
will check.
voice is actually breaking.
Okay, I will check. Maybe that is because of some internet issues. Okay. But I will try to speak little bit louder. Yeah. Is it proper now, sir?
So it is clear.
Clear now?
Still, it
Now?
is breaking.
Sorry. Yes, Wasim sir. Is it clear now?
Sir. Now it is okay, sir. Thank you, please.
Okay. Okay. So see, how do you write the program for that? How will you write the program? Okay. See, you will make two rungs or two rails here first. Okay. What I will do, I will make both the push button. Okay, I will connect both the push button in series. Both the push buttons are connected in series. Okay, and when both the inputs are there, then I will get the output and the lamp will glow. So input 0 0 0, I am denoting input A as input 0 0 0, input B as input 0 0 1. I have written it below also for understanding it. You just don't have to write this in your program. Okay, so PB push button A I have denoted by PBA, PBB. Okay, PB push button B and the lamp. Okay, and then the end of the rung. Okay, if you want to write, you can write this. Output lamp I have denoted by O000. Okay, O000. Okay, so this is my output. So when both the push button will be pressed, this will get closed, this will get closed, and the current will flow from this side to this side, and your lamp will glow. Okay, you have a very good application of this. Okay, so let's say uh, there are some press machine. Okay, press machine, you know what is a press machine? Okay, press machine is there wherein some press comes. Okay, and it there are some there down, and the press comes from upside and in the downward direction, and it presses the job, and it gets it becomes a finished product. So what happens, when the operator, okay, you can see I've written application in press machine. So what happens when the operator is, trying to start the uh, button? Okay, start the button, and he will, as soon as he starts the button, push button one, okay, start button. What will happen? The RAM will come down, and if he's changing this job, yeah, he has to continuously change this job. Okay, if one press operation is done, then you have to go to the second press operation, second job. So he has to continuously change this. What happens if he is putting his hand here? Okay, he's putting his hand here, one hand is here, and from the other hand he is pushing the push button A, input A. So what was happening? The program or the circuit was made in such a way that if you press only one button, then also the press will come down and it will operate. So if I would have made only one input, let's say only A input have been connected and not B. Okay, if I press that, then my lamp will grow. Only A will. If I press, then my lamp will grow. So if I would have made like that, what was happening when the operator was pressing the A button? Okay, the press was coming down, and if by mistake his second hand is here at this position, okay, then his hand was getting harm. Okay, and it was a major problem. So therefore, for additional safety, they are doing, they are using two push buttons which are away from each other. So the operator will, when he will press both the push button from both his hands, both left hand and right hand, then only the RAM will come down, then only you will get the output, like you are getting the output in your lamp here. Okay, so this is an additional safety where, safety which was applied to, so that the operator does not gets hurt. Okay, so it is a heavy RAM, it will hurt badly to the operator. So to avoid that, you can use this type of system. Hope you are getting this. Okay, shall I move ahead? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is an
Yes,
OR
sir.
function? What is an OR function? See, when input A or input B or both the inputs are 1, then the output is 1. All of you know this. Any one is 1, any one is true, either A or B, then you will get the output. Okay. Or both are 1, then also you will get the output. So how will you design the circuit? You will design the circuit like this. Okay. When input A or input B or both the inputs are 1, then the output is 1. So 230 volt AC. Okay. I have connected A and B in parallel. Okay. When either A or either B is pressed, what you will get? You will get the output. Okay. If A is not pressed, B is pressed, what will happen? The current will go from here and the lamp will on. Okay. So how will you write this program? Okay. When any one switch or both the switches are closed, that is one condition, then output lamp is on. That is output is 1. If both switches are operating, that is 0 condition, then there is no supply. If both switches are operating, that is 0. Okay. If both switches are open, that is 0 condition, then there is no supply to lamp and the lamp is off. See, you have to write the program like this. Equivalent PLC ladder diagram will be like this. Okay. How? See, these are my 2 rails. In these 2 rails only I have to write my program. Okay. And what will happen? I am connecting input A here. Okay. Input A in series with the output fan. Okay. I am denoting input A with in I000, output with O000, and input B with input 001. So if input A is there, then also my connection is made and I will get the output. If I am pressing one push button, then also I am getting output. If let's say input A is not pressed, then if only input B is present, then the current will go from this side and the circuit gets completed. Okay, you can understand it like the circuit gets completed. Yes. So I'm audible properly, na sir? No voice breaking now, na?
Yes, sir, it is clear.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yes, sir, it is clear.
It's clear.
Okay. So see, develop a ladder diagram that will cause the output Q to be on when push button A is on, or either B or either C. Any one button is on, then I will get an output. So I will design it like this. All the 3 inputs in parallel. Okay. If A is on, then the current will go from here to here. If B is on and other 2 are off, then the current will go from here. Okay. And if both these are off, only C is on, then the current will go from this point to this point. Both the rails are connected. Okay. See, this rail and this rail should be connected. So it is getting connected and therefore you will get the output. Okay. So this is how you have to develop your logic. Okay. Any one push button is pressed, A or B or C, then you will get the output. Okay. See, this is a NOT gate also. If you want an output when the push button is pressed. Okay. When a push button is pressed, you want your lamp should be off. Okay. Then also you can design a circuit like that. When the push button is pressed, the lamp should be off. Okay. And when it is not pressed, the lamp is on. So how you will do that? With the help of a NOT gate. All of you know what is a NOT gate. When it is not, okay, when it is not true, when it is 0, then you are getting the output. Okay, so how it will be? Here is a 24 volt supply. Here is a 0. Here is 0. Here it is 24. Okay, both are connected. What will happen? A push button is there. Okay, A push button, and there is a relay coil K1 connected here. Okay, relay coil K1 connected. What happens? All of you know what is a relay coil. What happens to the relay coil? When it is getting current, it gets magnetized, and whichever contacts are with the same name K1, okay, which are a part of that relay only. This K1 is the part of that relay only. So this contact which is open, what will happen to that? If the current is supplied to this relay coil and your A is getting closed. Okay, so the current will flow to the K1 coil. What will happen to this contact, normally closed contact, which is there on the right hand side? What will happen? Yes, students. What will happen? Yes. Anyone?
The circuit will run.
The circuit will run. How? The normally closed contact will this contact relay will get open or closed.
Closed.
See, it is already closed. It is already closed. When I was it was open, the A was open, okay, then it was closed. It is a normally closed contact which is connected. Okay, hope you are getting this. So when the coil is getting energized, it will open this contact relay. It will open this contact relay. Okay, so it will be in this position now. It will be opened. Okay, and therefore, as it will be opened, it will not allow any current to flow to the lamp. See, you might have seen a connection like this. When the K1 coil is getting energized, okay, when the K1 coil is getting energized, what happens? It closes a normally open contact, okay, and opens a normally closed contact. Okay, so see what happens with the help of a magnetic action. If this K1 coil, which is denoted with the help of a circle, it is a coil, okay, it is having magnet inside it. When it gets energized, what is happening? It will close a normally open contact. अगर कोई normally open contact है तो उसको close कर देगा, और कोई close है तो उसको open कर देगा. ओके, तो इसको क्या करेगा वो, ये नॉर्मली ओपन है, इसको क्लोज कर देगा. और अगर इसके बाजू में, ओके, इसके बाजू में अगर कोई नॉर्मली क्लोज कॉन्टैक्ट पहले से लगा हुआ है, ओके, नॉर्मली क्लोज कॉन्टैक्ट है कोई लगा हुआ, तो उसको क्या कर देगा, उसको मैग्नेटिक एक्शन से खींचेगा तो वो ओपन हो जाएगा. एक ओपन हो जाएगा, एक क्लोज हो जाएगा. सो नाउ टेल मी, if K1 coil is getting energized and there is a normally closed contact connected already, which is, you know, keeping the lamp in on condition. It is already in on condition because this connection is made here. Okay, this connection is made. The normally closed contact is there, and therefore, you know, the upper horizontal line here, this line, okay, it is giving the current till the circuit is getting completed and the current is supplied here till here. So already the lamp is on. But when I supply the current to K1 coil with the help of this A push button, what will happen? With the help of this A contact, what will happen now?
Sir, the lamp will be off.
The lamp will be off. Why?
Yes, sir. Because
Why?
the relay coil will be get energized.
And the K1
and
contact is
even the contact gets open.
open and the lamp will get off.
Lamp will get off.
Okay, so how will you write that? See, there are two rails here, okay, and I am denoting it as input A as normally closed. Okay, I am denoting it as normally closed because it is input A is not. Okay, when input A is not, what will happen? When input A is not closed, okay, you will get the output. You will get the output. Okay, when you are pressing the input, you will not get the output. Getting all of you? Once again, I will tell you. Input A, I am taking it as normally closed. So it is being denoted as normally closed. Okay, so as soon as I press this input, it will open here. See, it is denoted as normally closed. As soon as I press this input, the circuit will get open. Okay, the circuit will get open, and therefore the output will be off. There will be no output. And as soon as I release it, it will be in the normally closed condition only, and therefore your output will be there. Okay, so this is a NOT gate. You have to denote it like this when you are writing the program. Okay, see, the picture will be clear when you will see more operations like this. Okay, you can write the program like this. Okay, input 000, red light, and end. When A is pressed, this is a normally closed push button. When it is pressed, okay, the A will be open, but then also you will get the light here. So it depends. See, this example I am giving so that you can understand. Okay, you are writing the program in such a way that and you are designing the circuit in such a way that you are getting the output. Though the A button is open, you are getting the output. Okay, so it depends on you how you design the circuit. Okay, see, then comes your time delay. Okay, time delay is also there. Okay, we will see the time delay later. Okay, we will see small circuits now. Okay, let us see the video. We'll see simple videos. Okay, what is here? See, there is a storage tank. Okay, there is a storage tank, a pump. Okay, pump is run with the help of a motor, and it is filling the pressure tank here. It is filling the pressure tank. Okay, and the pressure tank can be used to supply the water anywhere. Anywhere it can be used to supply. So how will you write the program? See, there is L1 line here and L2 line here, and there are two rungs, two horizontal rungs, rung 1 and rung 2. So what will happen when you press the start button? When you press the start button, the circuits get completed, the motor gets run. When this motor M1, okay, it gets energized, what I've done, I've put a normally open M1 contact here in rung 2. So what is happening here in rung 2, M1 is normally open. As soon as this pump motor gets energized, this M1 will get closed and the pump will also get on. Okay, and the storage tank will give the water to the pressure tank. Okay, so this pump motor M1, motor, it is, you can consider it as a relay coil. When the coil gets energized, it will close the normally open contact, if any, and it will run the pump. See, the red color is shown in the rung 2. See, first it was black, now it is shown as red color. So it shows that it is in true condition now. See, what is telling, when the water level in the pressurized tank becomes too low, the operator must keep the push button pressed to make the pump run until the tank is full. When the push button is released, the flow stops. Okay, happening here, students, operator की जरूरत है यहाँ पर. The operator is required. Why he is required? To press the start button. And just not to press the start button, but also to see whether the pressure tank is full. As soon as the pressure tank is full, what he has to do, he has to release the start button, so it does not overflow. So there is an operator who is required to see and observe and press the start and stop button. Okay, there is no stop button, but he has to release the start button, and then the current will be off. See what he's doing, he's releasing as soon as it gets filled up. Now see, this manually controlled ladder circuit consists of a normally open push button. Normally open push button, which is that start button. Push button switch that is connected in series with the contact coil in rung 1. Okay, contact coil, which I am telling as M1. The energized coil closes the contact in rung 2. ओके M1 को क्लोज करता है वो, जैसे ही M1 एनर्जाइज हुआ वो M1 कॉन्टैक्ट को जो रंग 2 में है उसको क्लोज करता है, thereby passing current to the pump and enabling it to run. ओके नॉर्मली ओपन पुश बटन है, स्टार्ट बटन हमारा नॉर्मली ओपन है और M1 भी नॉर्मली ओपन है. As soon as I press the start button, M1 coil will get energized. As soon as the M1 coil gets energized, M1, which is a normally open contact, it will get closed and the pump will run. Okay. See, now comes little bit automation. What he is telling now? To eliminate the need for the operator to keep pressing the push button while the tank fills, a latching circuit is created. Okay, a latching circuit is created along with a separate rung that is dedicated to powering the motor. All of you know what is latching, students. Might have studied that in electropneumatics. Yes. What is latching? You know, latching here is done by M1. You don't have to keep the push button pressed, you know, to supply the tank continuously. Same as in your elevators or lifts. What is happening in elevators and lifts? You don't press the push button, or you know, while you go in lift in your building, just don't press the push button till you go till the you know, 7th floor or 8th floor, wherever you have to go. You just press it once and the circuits get completed and the lift will leave you till the 7th floor. Isn't it? Yes, students. So the same way is this latching. What is happening when you press the start button? It will make the connection, okay, and it will supply the current though you are releasing the button. Same as in your lift, you press the button and you release it and the connection is getting made. So what is happening here? As soon as you press the start button, the current is flowing through M1 here. Okay, current is flowing through the M1 coil here, the circular coil on the right hand side. This coil M1, which is denoted by pump motor. Okay, this coil gets energized. As soon as it gets energized, it will close this M1 contact. Okay, it has to energize once. Okay, I have to press the start button to energize it once. Okay, as soon as it gets energized, the current will flow from this M1 contact, and if I release the start button also, then also the current will be getting flow through the contact, and this you know, this coil will be getting energized, and because this coil is energized, this M1 contact will also be closed. So both you know, both are helping each other. You know how, see, because the M1 contact will be closed here, the current will flow to M1 pump motor or M1 coil, the circular coil, and because the circular coil is energized, the M1 contact will be closed. Okay, just observe it. See what he is telling. When the operator momentarily presses the normally open contact start button, a current path is completed from L1 through a coil M1 to L2. When he presses that, the path is completed. Okay, there is a stop button also. See how the stop button will work. When you press the stop button, it will break the contact. Okay, so he has to, when the operator momentarily depresses the normally open contact, means it is connecting it, a current path is completed from L1 through a coil M1 to L2. Okay, what happens? What happens now? See, energizing the coil. What is written? Energizing the coil closes the contact M1. See this M1 contact which is below the start button, now it is closed, which is in parallel with the push button, thus maintaining current through coil M1 even after the push button is released. Now he has released the push button, then also the current is going through this M1 contact and the pump motor is getting energized. Okay, the circuit is completed. This operation is the latching. It is called latching. It is used in electropneumatics also. Okay, the energized coil also closes contact M1 in rung 2, thereby completing the circuit and providing current to the pump. Okay, see when the pressure tank is almost full, okay, pressure tank is almost full, the operator pushes the normally closed stop button. He has to press the normally closed stop button. This opens the circuit and de-energizes the coil. So to stop this filling of the pressure tank, you have to press the stop button. Otherwise, your circuit will be connected and you will not be able to off the pump. You will be not be able to off the pump. Okay. So you will not be able to off the pump. Okay. So uh, you have to put a stop button. There is something. Some device should be there to stop the current flowing. So you have to whenever you are doing latching or something, you have to put a normally closed contact which will get open on pressing it, or you can run it with the help of any coil also. But here I have put a normal stop button. As soon as I press it, the connection will be off. Okay, so what he's telling, when the pressure tank is almost full, the operator pushes the normally closed contact, that is the stop button. This opens the circuit and de-energizes the coil. The result is that both M1 contacts open to cause rung 1 to unlatch and the motor in rung 2 to turn off. Just observe it. Hope you are getting this, students. When it is flowing, it is shown with the help of red color. Okay. See now, he is going on the next step. He is going on the next step. Now he is going towards more automation. He has put a normally closed float switch FS1. Okay, normally closed float switch FS1. Okay, where he has put at the top of the pressure tank. What will happen when the water level increases and it reaches the float? Okay, there is a float here. It will reaches the float of the normally closed contact. What will happen? Yes, anyone?
Sir, the
When the
contact
pressure
will be
tank
open.
contact will be open. Okay,
Yes,
very
sir.
good. The contact will be opened and there will be no current flowing to the M1 coil and therefore the pump will get stopped. So this is required now. We don't want the pressure tank to be overflowed. So as soon as it gets filled completely, what will happen? The normally closed contact will get open and the pump will be off automatically. Don't have to press the stop button. Okay, so this is the next level of your automation. Okay, he has done that. Just observe this. Okay, see now what he's telling, the operator just have to push the start button and then he has to leave it. Okay, he just don't have to press the stop button to stop the pump. Okay, it will off automatically. Understood, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next level. See what is doing. FS2 normally close contact FS2. It is also a normally close contact. It can be seen as open, it can be seen as open because it is actuated. Because of the water, it is, you can see it as open. Because of the water pressure, it is opening the contact. But as soon as the water level goes down, it will also be closed. FS2 will be closed here at this position, downward position. So it is giving a signal here. It is giving a signal that now the water in the pressure tank has gone below the level. So now what he has to do? If it is the water level is going below the uh, lowest point, now it is completely empty. Now what we have to do? Now we have to start the pump. Okay. Now we have to start the pump. So that is done with the help of this FS2. What will it do? As soon as the water level goes down, it will get closed, and then the pump will get on automatically. It is written here, see, the pump can be made to turn on automatically when the water level becomes too low by inserting a normally closed float switch at the bottom of the tank and in parallel with the start button. If the water level is above the float, the buoyancy of the bulb keeps the switch open. Okay, buoyancy, because the water, pressure, the contact is getting open, or the float, because of the float, the contact is open. Okay, just is the statement just says that. Okay, just observe it, you will understand. Okay, what is telling? If the water level drops below the float, its contact will close and provide a path for current to energize the coil in rung 1. Okay. The result is that the normally open M1 contacts closes, okay, which latches rung 1 and turns the pump on in rung 2. Okay. See, both FS2 and FS1 are normally closed here. Keep in mind, both FS1 and FS2 are normally closed. Both will be open when, because of water. When the water level reaches up to FS1, that will also be open. Okay. So now FS2 is shown open in the circuit also, here in the circuit also, because of your water level which is above the contact FS2. See, observe it. FS2 gets open. As soon as it reaches FS1, the FS1 contact in the circuit also gets open. Okay, understood it properly, students?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
Sir.
Also M1 coil, it is getting latched also. Okay, it is getting latched also, so you don't have to press the start button and keep it on. It is getting latched, therefore the current is flowing continuously with the help of that also. Okay. Though FS2 will be open also, then if it gets open, then also the current will flow through M1. See here, if FS2 is open, then also once the M1 this contact gets latched, the current will flow through M1. Okay. Now see, here comes FS3. FS3, what is done? What is therefore FS3? Okay, FS3 is FS3 is used to keep the level of storage tank, okay, above the prescribed limit. Okay, the normally open contact is used here. Okay, here the FS1 is normally open, NO is written. Okay. So the water level is keeping it closed. See, the water is filled in the storage tank. Therefore, it is in the closed position shown here. But normally in its normal position, when the water is not pushing the float, when the water in the storage tank is below the level, it is very much down, then what will happen? It will open. Okay, it will open, and the contact will open, and it will not allow the pump to run. Getting all of you? It will not allow the pump to run. Why we have done this? Anyone who has understood this?
Sir, because
Why we are
the
opening?
empty motor, sir, because the empty motor will run, it will burn the motor.
Yes, of course. Okay, if there is no water in the storage tank, and then also, if the pump is running, okay, then the pump will get burned. You might be using your, water pump somewhere, you might have seen at your home or somewhere in some shops. What happens in a water pump? It just pumps the water, and if it is, kept like that only, no water is flowing through that, and if it is on, then it will get burned if it is kept for longer time. So for that safety also, we have kept FS3 here. As soon as the storage tank level goes down, what will happen? It will open the circuit and the pump will get off. So this FS3 has to be connected here, see, in series with the rung 1. So as soon as it opens, no latching will work, no current will flow to the pump. Okay, latching will also stop. Just observe it. Okay, what is written? The storage tank supplies water to the pressure tank. If the level in the storage tank drops below its outlet pipe, the pump becomes damaged because no water is flowing through it. Okay, just observe it now. Okay, see, this draining of the pressure tank, it is done normally by the operator. Huh? It is not done automatically, but we can do that automatically also if we want. But in this circuit, it is not done. Okay, in this circuit, it is not done automatically, but you can do it. So discharge, which is done, discharge, you can see the pressure tank is getting discharged. It is, done automatically. It is being operated. Sorry, it is being done with the help of the operator. He's observing that pressure tank is full. Now I have to discharge it. Okay. So just observe it. We have just done automation for storage tank. Okay. Hope you have understood it, students.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is, all the things shown with the help of the diagram and contacts. Okay. And, program is also shown. But, when you are writing a program, you can, do other things also. Okay. Like here, because of the water level, this contact is getting open. When the, you can see in the storage tank, what is happening? The storage tank, when the water level goes down, what is happening to FS3? It is getting open. What is happening in pressure tank, students? When the water level is going down, FS2 is getting, yes, FS2 is getting closed. Yes, getting all of you? What is happening here in left in storage tank? Because it is a normally open contact. Okay, when the water level goes down, it gets opened out automatically and break the connection. What happens in here but in pressure tank? When the water level goes down, FS2 gets closed because we have made it like that, because it is a normally closed contact. Getting all of you? So it is in our hand how we want to design it, how we have to design it, and how we have to use it. Okay, it is in our hand.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can use both the things simultaneously also. How? See, here there is FS2. Okay, normally close contact FS2. You can also connect an FS4 here. Okay, an FS4 which will be a normally open contact. Is that possible, students? Okay, you know, one contact will get break and one contact will be made. Is it possible? If I connect an FS4 here, which is a normally open contact, below FS2 I will connect FS4. And what will happen when the water level goes down? Okay, water level goes down, the contact normally close contact FS2 that will be connected. Okay, that will be made, and FS4 which is a normally open contact, it will get break. Is it possible? Both the things at a time. If I want to do it, yes, students. Anyone?
Sir, can you please repeat the FS4 concept?
See, I'm telling you, in storage tank, there is a normally open contact, FS3. If the water level is going down, it is opening. How is it opening? You all have seen. Okay. Okay, it was closed here. Okay, and then as the water level goes down, it is opening. Okay, and what is happening in pressure tank? As the water level is going down, it is closing. Okay, see here, isn't it? So my question is, if below FS2, okay, if below FS2 I connect FS4, a normally open contact, okay, so is it possible with the help of this same FS2 contact which is there here, it will, what will happen as soon as the water level goes down here, the normally closed contact, okay, it will be closed. Okay, but an another contact FS4, it will get open. So I can make that connection, students. Okay, I can make that connections so that I will get a circuit as per my use. Okay, as per my use, I will use the circuit. Okay, I will try to show it to you. You know, see, this is how a relay looks like. This is how a relay looks like. Okay, okay, there is an electromagnet down, you can see golden color, and then it opens or closes the contact. Okay, it is programmable. Okay, there can be a timer also set to with that. Okay, see what is happening here. This is how latching goes. Okay, what is happening? As soon as I press the push button, there is a relay coil here which is shown. Okay, with the help of a magnet, and as soon as I press that, it is also closing a normally open contact which is just above that because of the magnetic action. And because of that electromagnet, the contact is getting closed. Okay, this is how electromagnet
sir.
works or relay works. Yes, it can close two contacts at a time also. Getting all of you? Because of the magnetic action, it is closing two contacts here. You have studied these students. This is, you know, how latching is done. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, Thakur sir.
Yes, sir.
Huh. Should I continue with this, or you know, I should move ahead? Is this taught?
You can move over, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. I will show them one single thing. See, see how the latching works. Okay. Hope you are understanding this. Though the push button is released because of the magnetic action, the contact is closed and the current is flowing. So this is your latching, how the current is flowing. The application you can see in bulbs. Okay. See, this is important. See, when the magnet is getting energized, what will happen? It will also open a normally closed contact. See, you can see at the top, this is a normally closed contact here. Okay. This is a normally closed contact which will get open. Okay. Hope you have understood the operation. Okay. So we'll move ahead, students. Okay. We'll move towards the circuit. We will see a circuit which is, you know, used in your uh, electropneumatics. Okay. Suppose you have to design an electropneumatic circuit. Okay. uh, let's say you have to make a plus a minus circuit. Okay. You have to make a plus a minus circuit. How you will make it? Okay. See, uh, there is a diagram here. Hmm. Yeah, see, this is your a plus a minus circuit. Okay. Suppose you have to make your as you have studied a plus a minus. Okay. A plus a minus, you know, this is how your cylinder looks like. Okay. cylinder piston arrangement looks like. Okay, see, A plus and A minus you have to do with the help of solenoids. Okay, these are the two solenoids you can see, Y1 and Y2 here. Okay, which is getting current. Okay, in with the help of 24-volt DC supply, and the contact here, see the normally open contact here, it will get closed only when it is getting command with the help of this PLC. Okay, so what is PLC doing? It is giving the command when to operate or when to close this normally open contact. Okay, getting all of you? So this is just a connection shown, you know. It is getting its input from switch SW1 and SW2. What is SW1? SW1 is here. Okay, when the piston is in retracted position, it will be at SW1, and when it is at the extended position, it will be at SW2. So it is getting its input from SW1 and SW2, which is shown here in the bottom. Okay, SW1 and SW2 is giving the input, and the PLC will process it, and as soon as the SW1 switch gets closed, what it will done, it will do the A plus operation, and it will give the command to Y1. Okay, and it will flow, it will give the command, PLC will give the command to close this contact here. Okay, and the contact which is there here, it will get closed, and the current will be supplied from this point here ahead to Y1. Okay, as soon as the piston reaches SW2, the input will be given to the PLC from here. What will do? PLC will process it. Yes, SW, it will get to know with the help of the current. Yes, SW2 is pressed now because of the piston. Okay, the piston has reached because of the A plus operation. SW2, okay, the piston has reached here. As soon as SW2 gets actuated, PLC will process it, and it will give the command to close this contact here. Okay, and therefore the contact will get closed, and the Y2 solenoid get actuated. Okay, but when the Y2 solenoid is getting actuated, your Y1 should get off. This Y1 should get off. Okay, so what SW2 will do? SW2 will also open a contact. It will close one contact. Which contact it will close? It will close the contact of Y2, but it will open the contact of this Y1. Hope you are getting this. See, SW1 and SW2, you can consider it as a normally open contact only. Okay, it is a normally open contact only. But how we are designing the program is that we are naming it as, what we are doing, we are connecting a contact with it. It will open one contact and close one contact, just like I have shown you in the video now. Okay, just see how will the program be written here. Okay, how will the program will be written here? Just observe here. See, this X100, I have denoted X100 with X100 as the address for SW1, and X200 for start switch SW2, Y100 for solenoid valve Y1, and Y200 for solenoid valve Y2. Okay, solenoid value it is written, it is not value, it is valve. Okay, valve. So what is there? When the input switch X100 SW1 is actuated, rung 1 is latched. Okay, this rung 1 is latched. Okay, instantaneously, and what is happening? And the output device Y100, okay, the output device Y100 is energized. Okay, the output relay Y100 is connected to the solenoid Y1. Okay, and thus the piston is extended. Okay, how is the piston? See, there is a piston arrangement here. There is a piston here. Okay, connected with a rod here. Okay, here is S1 or SW1. Here is S2 or SW2. Okay, the A plus operation here. A plus operation. When will the A plus operation will be done? When the air is supplied in this direction from here, from this point to the piston. Okay, there is a piston inside, which is connected to the connecting rod. Okay. Okay. So A plus operation will be done when Y100 will be getting actuated. So we have to operate Y100. Okay, and A minus operation will be done when y200 will be getting actuated. Okay. So see here, the solenoid Y2 is de-energized during the forward motion of the piston by a normally close contact of X100. So see, X100 is your SW1. See here, what is SW1? SW1 is your X100, denoted by X100. So what is telling? Is telling the solenoid Y2 is de-energized during the forward motion of piston by a normally close contact of X100. X100 is having two contacts. One is normally open and one is normally closed. You can see here. See in the circuit. X100 is having two contacts. One is normally open and the another one in rung 2 it is normally closed. Okay. So as soon as the piston is reaching S1, what it will do, students? It will close the normally open contact, okay, and open the normally closed contact. Okay. Just see, output relay Y100 is connected to the solenoid Y1 and thus the piston is extended. The solenoid Y2 is de-energized during the forward motion of a piston by a normally closed contact of X100. Okay. X100 via output device Y200. Okay. When switch X200 is pressed, rung 2 is latched. Okay. Rung 2 will be latched when X200 gets closed, providing the output to the solenoid Y2 via relay coil Y200. Okay. The normally closed contact X200 in the rung 1 will now deactivate the solenoid Y1 via relay contact Y100 in rung 1. See, just observe here now. See how it will run. As soon as I press this X100, what will happen? This X200 is also closed. The start switch SW2 is also closed here. Okay, though the piston is at S1 only. The piston is at S1 only. Okay, it is not at S2. It is not at S2 here. It is at S1 only. This X200 will be closed because it is a normally closed contact. When the piston will reach S2, this X200 will also get open. So what is happening? As soon as the piston has reached S1, this X100 is getting closed. Okay, this X200 is also closed. The current will flow go to Y100. Y100 is latched. Okay, so this Y100 contact will also get closed. The latch will also get closed here. This is closed. This is closed, and therefore the current is going here in the Y100. What is Y100 here? See, solenoid valve Y1. What is Y1 doing? It is pushing the air here on this side and the piston will extend. It will start extending. Okay, it will move from S1 to S2. As soon as it reaches S2, what will happen? S2 is X200. This gets closed. Okay, this gets closed. X100, it is normally closed. Okay, so this will also allow current to flow. What will happen? Y200 gets energized and this will latch it. Okay, and therefore the current will also flow through Y200. Hope you are getting this, students. See, if I would have designed, okay, if I would have not used latching, if I would have designed it like this, see, if I would have just used, X100 here. I'm using X100 and I'm directly connecting Y100 here. Okay, here is my, this is my X100. Okay, X100. Okay, and this is my Y100. Okay, so as soon as the piston is reaching X1, Y100 gets energized and the piston moves from S2. Okay, and when it reaches S2, okay, my X200 gets energized. Okay, this is my X200. Okay, and my Y200 gets energized. Okay, and my solenoid valve Y2 gets energized and therefore the piston moves back. Okay, see, but what will happen? See, when X1 is getting energized, okay, sorry, when X1 is getting closed here, okay, what will happen? Y1 will get current. Y1 will get current. The solenoid valve Y1 will get current and the piston will start moving from this point. Okay, from this S1 to S2. Okay, it will start moving from this point S1 to S2. Okay, S1 to S2. But what will happen? As soon as it leaves this position S1, what will happen? As soon as it leaves this position S1, this X1 was closed. This X1 is representing SW1 or S1. This is closed because of the piston end. As soon as it leaves just 1 mm, it just leaves this position. What will happen? This will open again because it is a normally open contact, and then Y1 will not get current and it will stop. Isn't it? It will stop. It will not move ahead. So that is why I have to provide a latching here of Y100. Y100, I am providing a latching of Y100 here. So what will happen? If the piston, it has left X1 or position S1 also, then also Y1 will get current through this latching, and the full operation A plus will be getting taken place. Getting all of you?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, Y200, it should also be latched. As soon as it reaches S2, this X2 gets closed here. Okay, X2 should get closed, and what will happen? As soon as it reaches S2, this Y200 should get energized. Okay, and the operation of A minus should happen because it is operating Y2 solenoid. Okay, and therefore this also should be latched. This also should be latched. Why it should be latched? Because as soon as it leaves the position of X2, what will happen here? At X2, it will get open because it is a normally open contact. It will get open, and therefore it will be a malfunctioning. Malfunctioning means it will not work. So therefore, it will just move 1 mm. Okay, it just moves from S2. This X2 gets open, and therefore it will open the contact. So there will be no current to Y200. So therefore, to give the current till a full A minus operation is getting a place, I am keeping a latching circuit here which will flow the current to Y200, though the piston has moved from S2. Getting all of you? But again, see, when Y1 is working, Y100 is working, Y200 should not work. Both the solenoid should not work at the same time. Both the solenoid should not work at the same time. If A plus operation is being operated, my A minus operation should it be operated? No, na. Both should operate, at different time. It should not operate at simultaneously at the same time. But when I am designing this circuit, okay, this type of circuit which I have made, what will happen? When X1 is getting closed, because of the latching, Y1 is getting current. Who will break this circuit when the piston is reaching this X2 position here? Who will break this? Okay, when it is reaching X2, it is also energizing Y200. This latching has to be closed, na? Otherwise, Y1 and Y2 both are getting current. Who is breaking the current of Y1? And the piston has reached X2. No one, na? See, when the piston was at X1 or S1, this was closed. This X1 was closed, and therefore the current was going to Y1, and therefore as soon as it gets current, this Y1 latching was also closed, and therefore this Y1 was connected, and the piston started moving from S1 to S2. The A plus operation was done, but as soon as it reached S2, this contact also got closed. X2 got closed, and therefore what happened? X200 got closed, and you got current in your Y200, and Y200 closed this X2 contact here, and therefore it also got latched. So both are getting current at the same time. Should it happen like this? Yes, students. Both should not get current. Now, when Y1 is getting current, when A plus operation is done, the circuit should break. So that is why I have put this X200 here. I should put this X200 here, so the latching gets break. So as soon as the piston reached S2, my current to Y100 should get stopped. This Y100 should get stopped. So that is why I have put a normally close contact here. As soon as the piston is reaching S2, okay, or X200, this normally closed contact will get open, and this normally open contact will get closed. Okay, and my piston will move to back to A minus position. Okay, one more thing. Okay, when it is moving back to A minus position, as soon as it reaches S1 here, okay, as soon as it reaches S1 here, what will happen? It will close this contact X100, which is a normally open contact, and it will open this normally closed contact here, and what will happen? It will de-energize Y200. It will de-energize Y200, and therefore at one time only one coil will be activated. Hope you have understood this, students.
Yes.
This is how you make your circuit. So this circuit will run continuously. It will reach S1. Okay, it will reach S2. As it reach S2, your A minus operation will be getting take place, and it will again move back, and again it will move from S1 to S2, S2 to S1, S1 to S2, S2 to S1. So to stop it, you can put a push button here. You can keep a stop push button here. As soon as you presses it, it will open and it will break the circuit. Okay, students.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any doubt? Yes, any doubt, students?
No, sir.
Okay. See, there are many more circuits which we can cover, which which are asked in exams also. I will give you the notes of that. Okay, which is there with me. So I will share it with you, and you can go through that. Or should I take one more circuit which is asked in exam? Yes, Thakur sir.
Students,
Is it
if it's enough, sir. If any students has any doubt, can ask.
if they want, I can take one more problem. I think they are sitting from last 2 hours, so they need a break. They're not replying. Okay, so we will finish it here, sir. Okay, I
sir.
will share the notes with you. You can share it with students. Okay,
Sure, sir.
there are
Uh,
problems I am having. Many problem
okay.
solutions.
Okay, sir. Any students having any doubt, any kind of doubt, they can ask. We still have 5 minutes remaining.
No,
Anyone? Okay, so
no, sir.
if any, okay, so no one has doubt, right? So we can declare the lecture.
Okay, okay, sir.
Uh, okay, so I would like to give a vote of thanks to Professor Arshad sir on behalf of Automobile Engineering Department and Theme College of Engineering. You gave your valuable time for this expert lecture and enlighten our students on the topic of programmable logic controller. This lecture has provided an add-on knowledge to students on this particular topic, which will help them in academics and upcoming final year projects also. And also, I would like to thank to our principal sir and HOD Professor Wasim sir for arranging such guest lecture on this important topic. Also, I would like to thanks to all the students for being present in the lecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Uh,
Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank
principal
you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, HOD sir. Thank
I'm very much thankful to the Professor Arshad. Yeah, for giving us his valuable time with a very tight schedule during this session. And I'm sorry for that. Like I'm not able to attend like your whole lecture because of some work. But really, it is a very fruitful to me and my student also. And I
thank,
request to the sir once the physical college will run, we will invite you in our college also for the physical guest lecture.
thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Oh, yes,
Thank you
sir.
for
Thank
your
you.
appreciation.
Thank you,
I
sir.
would also like to thank Theme College for inviting me and considering me, capable enough to conduct a guest lecture. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. On my behalf, I would like to, tell Wasim sir to, on my behalf, thank principal sir also and management also to considering me and inviting me.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so students, you can leave. I'm ending the meeting. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.